Alright, welcome to another edition of Utah Mushroom Hunter. Today is April 28th, it's Friday, and I wanted to go and check a couple of my spots, and so I'm out looking at them. I have already been to one of my spots that I was expecting and hoping a morel would pop today, and I haven't seen one pop from that area. Up on Mushrooms of Utah, they posted that there was some mushrooms. Someone posted finding some morels up by Bountiful at 4,400 feet. I don't know if it's authentic or not, but I might have to dig into that a little bit more. But if that's true, then they should start popping up everywhere. So it should be now should be go time. So I'm out checking my spots. My first spot, I was really hopeful one would pop today, and there's still nothing there. I can't believe it. So I'm going to keep looking, see what else I can find. I've got a few more spots I'm going to check. So there's a spot here that I want to check. This is a spot that I found some awesome oysters last year, and I'm coming back to check that same spot to see if they're coming back again this year. This is the time of year I found them last year, maybe even a little bit earlier than this. But I want to check this spot. Let's see what we find. Okay, so my spot is here along the river, and here's my spot, and look what's happening here. Look at that. Nice little flush of oyster mushrooms. And this is interesting because you got this live tree right here. This is a live tree. But this wood right down here is all dead. And that's what it's growing out of. Look how wonderful this is. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to harvest the largest mushrooms, and I'll leave the rest. And I'm going to come back here in a week or so, and I bet you I get another flush of them from right here. But those are perfect size right now. Those are perfect. I'm gonna just take these larger ones here. I'm gonna leave the rest. Oops, looks like that whole bunch came out. That's all right, it'll be delicious. Notice that color on them, absolutely beautiful. And see, you got the very typical oyster gills that come right down the stem just like that. And this is how oysters grow. So that's going to be delicious. Oh, those look gorgeous. Those are absolutely gorgeous. Now notice that these ones here are kind of drying out, so they may not produce. I'm starting to think that because we don't have any more rain in the forecast, those just might dry out. Still might leave some to see what happens though. And if I come back again next year, they'll probably be here again. Gorgeous. There's my flush that I just pulled out of that area. Those will be delicious. All right, look at all those. Nice little find. Those will be yummy. Okay, so notice what I'm leaving here. I'm leaving a nice little bunch. These are small ones. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just try to cover these up where I cut them out to help that stay moist, and might even hide them a little bit. And that might give it a chance to grow out again this year still. We'll see what happens. I'll update you on this spot. Look what I found crawling on me. Be careful out there. So this is an area I have found morels in the past, and notice the vegetation. See, that leaf litter's not thick and crazy. It's just shallow leaf litter, mixed plants, and with a little bit of grass in there. This is perfect. In fact, right around this tree right here is where I found a handful of them. They are not there this year, at least not yet. If we get a good rainstorm, we might, but if we don't get a good rainstorm, this area probably won't produce any this year. Found that awesome oyster there, and it reminded me of another spot that I found the oysters last year. And so I'm heading over to check that spot. And I'll keep looking for morels, but so far I haven't found morels in my spots yet this year. Gonna go check over here in another spot. We'll see what I can find. Oh my goodness, I didn't find this until I turned this on, but look at this. What an awesome flush. This is where I found them last year. I didn't think I was to the spot yet, but this is it. These are oysters again. Someone left their can of Monster Energy there, but look at this. All these mushrooms popping out the side in this trunk. This is a perfect example of a stump that these oysters absolutely love. Notice that there's still bark on it. It's an old tree. I mean, this thing's getting pretty old. The root system, I'm guessing, probably lived a few years after the tree was cut down by the beaver. But, you know, it's still young enough. It's got the bark on it. And look at those mushrooms flush. And notice where they come out of. They come out from underneath the bark and from the crevices. But what a beautiful flush. So that's the one thing about this time of year, is the oysters really like this time of year. They love the change in temperatures, and you know, there's a lot of moisture in the wood still. They absolutely love this time of year. See, and if I can turn that up, you can see how fun that is. Let's see if I can cut some of that out. So the only reason why I came to this particular spot is because I'd found them last year in this spot. And so that's something you'll learn to do. When you find mushrooms in a spot, you check it year after year, because you'll probably find more. Look at that. Beautiful mushrooms. Beautiful oysters. Those are picked just absolutely perfect. So who wants some oysters? Oh, those are beautiful. Those are just going to be so delicious. Perfect condition. Okay, so I'm going to leave the rest of those. You can see how much mushroom material still in there. They're going to have a lot to grow off of, and I don't need more mushrooms than that. Let these grow. These probably will end up drying up and not becoming edible, but I may come back and check on these here in a week or two just to see if they flush back out. Probably need another good rainstorm for them to do that, but no question this log's holding quite a bit of water in it still, and so they just might flush out. These ones here that I'm leaving, you know, maybe they'll grow to some good size. I'll try to come back and check on them again. Okay, I just gotta say, I love being out here. Feels so good to get out. It's such a beautiful day today, and love being out on this river. And you saw that I actually found 2 different flushes of oyster mushrooms, and they're both flushes right in the exact same spot I found them last year. So in one of my previous videos, if you've been watching all my videos, there was a stump I stopped at and said there will probably be some oysters growing out of here in a matter of a few years or so. And that's the perfect example of what happens with those stumps quite often. So I got them from that spot last year. I'll get them. I got them again this year, and I'll probably get more next year. And I'm not sure how long it'll last. Maybe 8 years, 10 years. I don't know. They keep flushing until that stump just gets too old. But anyway, awesome oysters. I'm a little disappointed. I was really hoping that I'd find my first morel of the season today, but they aren't in my spots. I'm super curious about the Mushrooms of Utah post, where someone had posted pictures of some morels saying bountiful 4,400 feet, and I don't know if that's been authenticated. Someone took it off of another page and posted it here. I don't know if that's authentic or not, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was, because this, you know, here we are. What is it? Today's the April 28th. 2 weeks later than I normally find my morels, but because of all this cold weather, it's been pushed back. But here we are. The weather is beautiful. We're getting these awesome temperatures. In fact, we're getting hot a little too quick now. We're kind of getting caught up with ourselves, and I am worried. I am worried because if it warms up too quickly without rain, then these lower elevation morels probably aren't going to do that well this year, unfortunately. I'm not worried at all about the ones that are up the canyons and in the mountains. They've got plenty of moisture up there. Seems like they do really well, most years anyway. I'm not worried at all about the morels up the mountains though. There's a lot of snowpack up there. With water up there, it's well protected by trees and so forth. Those canyons, they seem to hold water so much better than down here, obviously. And so the morels up the canyons and in the mountains are a lot more consistent from one year to the next. And this year should be really, really good because of all the snowpack that's still up there. In fact, I'm going to have to start checking those spots up the canyons. But the last time I checked one of my morel spots up a canyon this year, which was a week ago, there was snow everywhere still. So I'm not sure how soon those areas are going to open up for us, but regardless, I'm a little bit worried about this next week or two. We're supposed to get into the mid 80s moving forward this next week, and there's no rain in the forecast. And because of the late start, the morel mushrooms, you know, they're trying to push up right now, but if we hit these mid 80s without any water, I'm worried that a lot of them are going to dry up and they're not going to really grow very big. So that's a definite possibility. And if that does happen, the morels in the valley are not going to be that good this year. But again, I'm absolutely not worried about the morels up the canyons. They're going to be great this year. I'm sure they will. I can't wait to get you up there and show you some of my spots up the canyons. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this episode of Utah Mushroom Hunter, and I might be making another episode tomorrow. I am a real estate agent, and I'm going to go look at a property in Ogden. So I'm going to check a spot not too far from Ogden and see if there's any morels popping in that area. Anyway, thanks for watching.